What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, September 8th, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all as always. Hope you're doing outstanding this far through the week. Also, if you're in Southern California or you want to travel, tomorrow is the last full moon event at High Vibe. It's going to be a pretty cool event. Of course, there's going to be singing bowls with Erica. David's going to DJ for Spiritual Dance Music Live, so there'll be some dancing, some good healing music. There'll be a panel up there, Human Design, Astrology. That'll be David, the Leo King. Erica Othen will be up there. Lauren McDowell, and also the Human Design maven Dylan. So, pretty cool. And I'm going to have a nice little one-on-one talk with people as well, so it's a nice little promotion for my little astrology talk as well. Hope to see you there if you can. Make it. If not, you can always purchase the pay-per-view at highvibe.tv. All right. Appreciate you guys. Let's look at the astrology for today. Well, it is my lunar return, 24 degrees of Aquarius, but that's not important. But it is Moon Saturn to start the day, and with the sun coming off these aspects to the nodes and moving to 16 degrees. It's interesting. I feel like there's definitely like a dedication to today. There's definitely a kind of a need to connect to the reality that we feel like we're being productive in, but I don't feel like we want to be so productive that we're beating ourselves into the dirt here as well. So it's kind of like realizing what you want to put your energy and effort into, what you want to put your emotion into. Try not to let things get to you as well. I think you kind of need to have that like water off a duck's back mentality. We're building up to a full moon. Things are ramping up. And the moon's really not going to be aspecting anything in these later degrees once it passes Saturn. So very void off course. And it's just like the productivity in your reality should be a direct reflection of the things that emotionally feel extremely connected, to the people that feel connected, to the work you're doing. Like, these are where you're going to find satisfaction in life. And it's the day before Mercury's going retrograde, so it is really stopped here, of course. So kind of this last day, we can trick ourselves. We can play a lot of mental games. We can try to just overly weigh things out, overly try and get things in balance, take one thing off, put another thing on, and then end up at the end of the day like, what did I do all that for? So that's a good question to ask. Like, what am I doing this for today? If you're not feeling super connected and stimulated on an emotional level, even a mental level, but on a creative level as well, why are you forcing that? And I think just asking the question could bring some clarity, even if we don't have an answer to it. I don't know if we get the answer right now. I don't know if we're meant to. The sun's coming off that trine to the north node, but it is starting to work on that trine over to Uranus. So there's a lot of downloads coming through this physical world of how to make life more valuable, how to look at new creative outlets, an unorthodox way of setting up your routine. I think your routine and your daily life should really fit your vibration, where you're at. It's not about necessarily what society wants. I think with Saturn and the moon in Aquarius, like, we can get pretty caught up in what other people are doing or how they're setting up their life or their achievements or, their feelings. Like, how about your feelings here? Like, how about the things that make you feel good? I mean, I think that there's something very special in the astrology right now for molding life into the ultimate harvest. Like, this reminds me of like the ultimate harvest for yourself. And I think we need to be willing to switch things up and to make a change. I feel like the universe wants us to do something different. It wants us to mix things up. So are we willing to kind of take that path that we haven't traveled, try something different, but with no expectation? Because if our mind starts to expect that if we do something different, we're going to find the alignment, then we might get the shock factor that it wasn't there. But I think it's being open to the right experiments. And with Saturn square Uranus, tighter and tighter every day, like, you really do want to be choosing the unique experiments that fit your creative outlets, that don't feel like you're constricted, but feel like you're liberated to be in your most authentic form in this physical reality, and to create that and to not let things hold you back. And especially if anything or anybody's trying to kind of bark orders at you, like, I don't think that's going to feel, good. And I don't think you should be barking orders at anybody else either. I mean, we do have Venus here in Virgo, and it's getting ready to make that quincunx over to Jupiter. It's getting ready to square Mars here soon. Meet with the Sun. It's in fall position. Sharing reception with Mercury, though. It's the feeling of life, physical, emotional, and getting really into that space of where you're at in your day-to-day life that actually does have answers. But I think mentally, if we start judging or barking or getting barked at, we're going to feel the weight. And if we're getting barked at, this is where we can take a turn and get out of those situations, maybe have some healthy conversations that are a little black and white maybe, but we have things, there is clarity. It's coming through. I think we know what we want, but there is something too about stepping up to make it actually show up in reality. And it does make a net 7 with the Sun at 16, so it's a very spiritual degree in itself. And it can definitely be wide open, extremely compassionate, but, there's got to be order too. So I think we're shifting today around to get things to fit into an order that is very unique and very authentic to who you are, and not so much about what everybody else is doing or what the expectations are of society, but more of a spiritual sense of what's freeing and liberating and feels, creative and exciting. And I think the more that we do step into anything that embodies something of that nature, then we are really going through a very beautiful, very physical purification that I think can connect a lot of dots for us in the process. So, yeah, it's pretty simple astrology right now. I mean, I think this full moon's pretty loaded that we're building up towards, but I think today it's not about the forcing of things. It's definitely more of making sure you're not connecting to the hot trend, but you're connecting to that kind of trailblazing mentality within yourself of like empowering you to really, Virgo makes me think of a clay pot spinning around, like molding it with your hands and touching it and like really making it what you want it. And, sometimes we have to keep going or add some more to it. So I feel like that we can be in a place where we're adding more on our plate. We don't want to add the things that stress us out. We really want to add what we want to work with. And I think that that's important today is like, if you feel like you need more and you want to do more, make sure that it really is what you want. And I think we'll have a really good sense of how that feels. And I think it's about listening to that. Well, that's what I gotta say. Turned off. Channel done. See what the cards say. Hope everybody's having a good week, though. And I hope that you have a great Thursday, of course. And I hope somebody who watches this shows up and, comes to the event at High Vibe in Orange County in Huntington Beach, because I'd love to meet some of you guys. So, that'd be outstanding if you did. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. Well, I like that because I think that it is getting things moving. And I think that it is the more that we're moving, the more that we're trying, the more that we're experimenting in some way, the more that we're manifesting, and the more that we're seeing what works and what doesn't and what fate has in store for us. And, it's the stagnation right now. It's like if that wheel of life were to just stop, that's where I think we're going to feel stress. And I do think there's a lot stopping. Mercury's stopping. We're in retrograde Tropolis here coming up. Mars is slowing down. Like, there is that energy, but life always goes on. There's always movement forward. And I think right now, if we embrace that, we're really coming to a place of kind of sitting in our power because we're accepting that the most constant thing in life is change and is progression forward and not trying to stay stagnant. I think that's where we will feel the weight of the world crash on our shoulders Another major arcana, Justice. I think we can get things in very good alignment, but it's not going to be what everybody else wants. We'll trip ourselves out trying to please everybody else. It's definitely more what's spinning in your life right now, what's becoming beautiful, what isn't, what's pure, what is the reality that you want to live. I think we want to be real right now and honest. And if we are honest about what's in alignment and what's not, it'll be very easy to keep things in alignment or to get things in alignment. And I think that'll feel like just that energy will keep things moving in essence in itself. Those cards come right after each other too, 10 and 11. So you can say that there's a divine order that's playing out today also. And we got the Four of Wands in reverse to finish it. Yeah, I don't think we have to please people. I think it can be a celebration of self in a lot of ways. And I know that connection's very important and we want to have that in our life right now and we feel like we might need it. But I think that it's more important that you're feeling that purification within yourself, that you're living your life in your truth, in the way that makes you feel aligned, in the way that makes you feel beautiful. And that's where great connections and celebration will be had. And I don't think you have to look for some party outside of yourself today or look for some recognition from the world either. Like, I think it's much more about feeling the party within when I get that card and how I feel about it. Because that's where the alignment is. That's where the wheels of fate are turning inside of you to make things happen. And maybe they're not showing up right now, but there's something alchemizing in all of us that's very special. Hold that value, hold that worth, and start to see where the universe is starting to open things up without the stress of even like the mental trying to force the situation. Maybe it doesn't have to be forced right now. Maybe it's just being more of an observer as well. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.